Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 10. In this topic, we're going to be seeing how to put up furniture from the internet itself. By the internet, I mean we can download a lot of furniture from Google. The same way I showed you all how to download material, you can type sofa plan or chair plan or toilet commode plan or car plan or whatever you want, and you can easily bring it up over here. For convenience sake, we have already provided you guys with all the furniture which you can use over here. So let's get straight into it and see how we can use that. So I'm going to be clicking on file and open, and we're going to go to our materials folder over here, and in this you guys will be able to see we have the bed plan, right? We've given two kinds of beds. You can use whichever one you want, and I'll press control and I'll select the sofa, the stool, as well as the toilet plan over here. So we have these four which I have selected. You can even select the car as well, and you'll see the difference that these four are JPEG whereas this is a PNG. And the reason we have given you separate files, which is PNG and JPEG, to make you understand how do you use a PNG and how do you use a JPEG. So let's quickly just go ahead and open this up. Press OK over here. Now we'll start with the first one, which is our bed plan. Now guys, you can see that there is a checkered mark behind over here, but that does not mean that the checkered mark is the background itself. The checkered mark is included in this furniture itself. So you can see this is a lock layer, so I really can't move it, as you can see. So I need to either right click and convert to smart object, and I need to right click and rasterize the layer. When I do that, you can actually see when I move it around now, we'll actually have this two kinds of backgrounds, and one background comes with the image itself. So how do we get rid of this background? Well, for that, I'm going to use the wand tool, and I'm just going to select this portion. So you can see it's around tolerance 56. Now, tolerance 56 basically means that it's going to tolerate 56 points. And if I reduce this, let's say this to 4, and I click over here, you can see it's now tolerating less. So it's only going to select that one single surface. If I increase the tolerance and I click here, you can see it selects a little bit more. And the more I increase it and I click, the more it selects. So you have to kind of vary the tolerance over there to actually understand which tolerance works the best. You can even say it that the wand tolerates more when you increase the tolerance and tolerates less when you reduce the tolerance. So that's a good way to remember it. Now after rasterizing it, we can select the sides and delete them off and press Ctrl D to deselect. Now I can use the move tool over here to actually just move this around, and we can just move this into the ground floor plan like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the main layer, which is basically our furniture layer. I'll just rename this to Furniture AutoCAD, and I'll just hide this layer for now. You can just hide it from clicking this eyes, and we have this. Now for placing this into place, I will press Ctrl T. And I've told you guys that to rotate this, you can come a little bit outside, and when it curves, you can actually click and rotate it. And if you want to rotate it in 90 degrees, you can press Shift to get the proper rotation. Now we can easily go ahead and hold Shift and scale this down to get uniform scaling. And I can just go ahead and place it over here. And I can press Enter once we're done. Now we can easily go ahead and just place this over here, which is going to be my bed placement. Now we can close this bed because we're done with it. Now we'll go up to the car. Again, I'll press Ctrl H to get rid of this grid. Guys, now the car over here is a PNG, as I had explained to you guys while opening it as well. PNGs are basically usable directly. We do not have any background in PNG. So you can see how this has no background and it's completely empty. And I can just drag this into our ground floor plan over here and place it like this and press yes. Now once we're done with this, we can press Ctrl T and I can rotate this like this, and I can again press Shift and scale this down, and we can move this from here into the garage area over here, and I can press Enter. So this is basically how we'll be placing our car as well, and we can simply go ahead and close this car now. Similarly, I'll open up sofa, and once we're done with this, guys, we can Now for this sofa, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to actually edit the background off. So to remove the background from here, first of all, of course, we're going to double click and rasterize this, because guys, rasterizing is always going to let us create editable drawings. Now once I'm done with this, I'll select the wand tool and I'll just select the white portion over here. Now make sure that it's not coming into the sofa. The reason I've selected a white color sofa with a white color background is to explain to you guys that if your tolerance is high, this kind of problems might happen, that it might eat into your sofa. So what we'll do is we'll reduce the tolerance over here, guys, to let's say 21, and you can see how clearly it is now selecting. So just varying the tolerance a little bit will actually help us out a lot. And I can just delete that much off and press Ctrl D. Now I can drag this from here into the ground floor plan and kind of place it up over here. Now we can press Ctrl T and actually rotate it in the same way like I've told you guys before. And we can just scale this down by pressing Shift and scaling. And we'll have a sofa to place over here. And I can press Enter now. And we can actually just go ahead and place this over here, something like this, guys. All right, so this is basically how we'll have all this placed in place. Now, so I can just go back to the sofa and close the sofa off, and we do not need to save this. We can go up to the stool plan, again double click and enter, Ctrl D. You can also press Ctrl H, select the white portion and delete, Ctrl D. Now we can easily pick up this tool and take it inside over here. I can press Ctrl T and rotate this. These tools will basically become for the kitchen area. Of course, you can even get a dining stool over here. You can get a dining table over here and place it over here. That's not going to be an issue. But we won't be doing that. We'll just be placing this, and we'll be placing our toilet as well. Now the toilet plan also is a little tricky because, as you can see, we have the toilet, which is very white, as well as the background over here is also white as well. So for this, I'm just going to double click and press OK, so it's editable. Now to actually get this drawing perfect, right, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the fourth option over here. You can see on the right corner below, guys, please have a look. It says create new fill or adjustment layer. So basically we'll click on this circle, which is like a half and half, and we'll click on the brightness and contrast over here. This is basically going to let me kind of decrease the brightness, and I can increase the contrast or decrease the contrast to actually get a very gray texture kind of a look over here. So I'll actually be able to see the outline much more clearly. Okay guys, so for this we'll be using our lasso tool, and I'll be selecting the poly lasso. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually going to make a straight line over here, something like this, and kind of just select this top portion and delete it off like that, right? Making sure it's on the addition one, guys. We're actually now, once the top portion is deleted off, we'll actually right click and select the magnetic lasso, and we'll just go along one of these sides now. So it's very simple. We'll just click on this edge and we'll just select the edges over here slowly. And once it starts to lose space, guys, we'll just select all the other portion and double click, right, and delete that off as well. Now there is some portions over here, we can just use the marquee tool to make a selection and delete, again make a selection and delete. We can also delete a lot more from here, so we don't have a lot over here to actually work with. You can just delete off the maximum, the most amount that we can, Control D. And now you can see that we have only a little bit remaining over here, guys. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wand tool to actually just kind of reduce the tolerance and just select all of this, right? You can see how I've kind of selected all of this over here, right? Even this little circle, something which is not there, select everything. Alright, something like this. And I will just do a right click and I'll do select inverse. So what happens is the unwanted portion is now selected and I can press delete. So you can see now we have kind of cleaned this up completely, but there are still little things over here which will be a little problematic, which we'll have to remove. So I can right click on the magnetic lasso and use the poly lasso over here, to actually do very small line selections. Again, because we work with pixels, right, and pixels are boxes, so we can actually work with a very minute line selections. All right, so we can just see how I do that. So I'll just quickly go ahead and select, just end over here. So it'll take a little time, guys, but what happens is you want to make sure that you are doing it perfectly, and you will be accompanying issues like this in Photoshop, where you need to know how to actually work very well. All right, just something like that, you guys can see. Kind of just selecting all these edges. So that we can erase it off later on. And I'm done with selecting the edges, guys. Now I'll select all the outside portions just to kind of formulate a box. And you can see what I've kind of created, right? I've kind of created this entire portion. Now we can press delete button itself just to kind of delete this whole thing off, and Control D. So you can see how we have got this clean edge now. You can drag this entire toilet plan into this. So you can see, even though it was completely white, it was quite difficult, we still managed to get it clean. And I can just place this over here. And we can scale this just furthermore, a little bit smaller, and place this back. So that's basically, guys, how we will be kind of finishing this whole thing off over here. Now I want you guys to understand that you can see there are no doors, or there are no opening doors anywhere, and no nomenclature. So all the doors will come in as a separate layer. All you have to do is press File, Open, and open up the doors layer which you have saved separately in AutoCAD, and just bring them here and place them on top. That's all that you have to do, really, guys. All right. So that will basically put in the doors, but we are learning how to create presentation drawings, so you can just show openings as well. You can even put in arrows over here to show the direction of the movement throughout your plan. But we have to finish this off with nomenclature, guys, basically with names everywhere. So for that, I will be selecting the T over here, which is the text tool, or I can simply press T as well. And I'll click over here, and let me just type in living room. Again, we can just make this caps. Living room. Control A, or I will just select the whole thing like this, or I can press Control A. Control A will select all the write up, and I can change the color from here. I can make this black, and I'll reduce the size to, let's say, 24 is large, or I can even reduce it to 12. 12 is good enough. So you can actually put in living room over here. I can press Alt and copy this text over here. Copy this from here to here. Right, copy this here as well, and copy this here as well. And now to edit these texts, I can press T and just go on whichever text I want to edit. Select, Control A, KITCHEN, that's kitchen. Then again T, select this. We can just type over here toilet, or WC. You can just copy this toilet from here to here. And again press T, select this text, Control A. We can just type bedroom and click over here. Remember, don't press enter, just go and click on the move command. Select this, Control A, we can type parking. And that's it, guys. We have kind of put up all the names as well everywhere, and we are done with this particular render. So I want you guys to complete this much. So I will see you in the next topic when we are going to render the first floor plan, which is going to be super simple because we worked really hard on the ground floor plan itself. So it will not be difficult to finish off the first floor plan. I will see you over there, guys. Please finish this much off, and I'll see you in the next topic. Take care.